Good tidings. I am Mara, Queen of Atlantis. I am contacting you on behalf of my king and husband Arthur. You may know him as Aquaman. Please meet me at the docks in Central City, but use caution. The streets are under siege.
Hi guys, welcome to Multiverse. Today we're going to play some Deluge missions with our little friend Firestorm. I wanted to use a fairly low level character to be able to show you pretty much an early version of what happens the very first time you play the Deluge DLC. I don't think I have any... Okay. So just to be sure, as you saw, my mainframe is not on, so I don't have any white mods in my gear, and I don't have any mods at all in my gear. The reason why I'm going to the trouble to use a character that has no mods at all, it's to make sure that if you're playing a level 10 character and you have absolutely no mods at all, you're going to be more or less on equal footing with my character. Obviously, with the level 30 character, I have access to all my powers, which is not quite true for a level 10 character, but let's go with that for this time. So let's go to the Watchtower, and let's get started. Obviously, I did not have to go to the Watchtower, but I wanted to make sure. I could have used the on-duty, not on duty, the warp menu. If you look, they've modified the warp menu so that now we can teleport straight to Central City, to the Deluge version of Central City if we want to. There's a few other points like a rally point or the Watchtower or the base of our character. So they've modified the warp a little bit. And of course, we have our little vendor here. Also, another thing that people have been asking, if your character is not 200 and is not combat rating 218, if you're playing with a level 10 character or more, but you're not quite yet 218, you're not going to be able to see the Mera gear in the little vendor. So as you can see right now, my character is level 31. The only gear you can really see is the Spindrift gear. So that should be true also for pretty much any character that is not 218 just yet. Oh, we have a friendly Firestorm here. Ah, I'm so jealous now. Also, there are a few missions that you're not going to see right away, and I will show you why. Basically, there were people... I made a few videos about the Deluge DLC just yet, and there were people who were wondering why there were certain missions that they could not see just yet. We're going to find out why in just a minute. So the very first time you get into the Deluge Central City map, as you can see, there's none of the NPCs who will actually give me a quest. I have to talk to that little doctor over here. So let's do that.
Thanks for your help. We sure appreciate the support.
So as you see, it says meet with Mera and Central City Deluge. This is if you're playing a hero character. If you're playing an evil villain character, it's slightly different. You have to meet the Ocean Master. But roughly, it's the very same thing. I will show you for the villain very quickly.
You are warned.
So if you're a villain, you're going to start on that side of the map, and you have to talk to the NPCs that are over there. Like you can see Ocean Master in the bubble. So it's pretty much the same thing. It's just different NPCs that you have to interact with, and there's slight subtleties in what's happening. But overall, it's pretty much the same missions, the same characters, the same NPCs, and all that good stuff. So here we can see our friend Mera is right here, so let's talk to her.
Thank you for coming. Aquaman has established an uneasy peace with the surface world. Now, at this critical time in our negotiations, Starro has returned to Central City. Atlantean troops appear to be leading these attacks, and the land dwellers blame Atlantis for the carnage you see around you. I am as certain as the tide. Arthur would never authorize such an attack. Interrogate these Atlantean turncoats and learn who is responsible.
So here you can see Mera gives us her first mission, which is interrogate the Atlanteans, 0 of 3. There's also this little console here. We're going to click on it right now. Basically, this little console is find Starro in Central City and defeat them. It's a mission where you have to defeat like 329 Starro within Central City. I'm taking it right now because you want to start you want to start having that mission as early as possible, so that whenever you fight those evil Starro like that one, they will count towards what you need to do. I'm probably going to be a little mixed up. The last time I played with nuclear, it was with my Ultraman character, and I'm using a slightly different loadout. So you can see I've defeated one of the evil Starro, so it added to the counter. Could have sworn the aura was different. I would have to look it up.
I will tell you nothing.
So we need just one more. Oh yeah, and before I forget, I'll show you basically with my character a bit. So again, as I showed, my character has no mods or any other stuff like that. And also, as you probably noticed, the combat rating of my character was raised to 218. So as soon as you enter this map, if you're level 10 or more, your combat rating will be increased to combat rating 218. Obviously, if your combat rating is already above 218, your combat rating is not going to change. So you can see all the stats that I have that have been improved in order to be able to raise the combat rating of my character. As you can see, I'm a bit of a slacker. I only have one artifact with this little guy. I'm gonna have to go get a second artifact. So let's go talk to Mara again. So once we talk to Mara,
For Arthur's betrayer, your scientists are coordinating a way to combat the Starro menace. Meet with them at the science outpost.
then we're going to be able to come here and talk to that little fellow over here. Basically, eventually, we're going to be able to talk to all the NPCs, interact with a few consoles, in order to be able to grab a whole bunch of missions.
Showing a huge amount of psychic energy spiking. Starro's face grabbers have taken control of quite a few heroes and villains. I'm glad you're here.
So at first, we don't have access to all the missions. We only have access to this little lady here. So we're going to do our mission, then we're going to be able to do another mission, and another mission. So we're going to go through a few NPCs before we can unlock all the missions. So the very first time you play those missions, you only have access to one mission at a time.
Transporting hatcheries filled with some sort of alien parasitic creature. They seem to be able to replicate super fast, and once they've latched on, they take over your mind. We need some of the Starro spores found in the hatcheries to study. That way, we can determine their weaknesses and maybe find a way to fight them before we all get taken over.
So as you saw, we need 5 spores. We have to talk to Mara again. I'm going to do the mission first, and I'll go talk to her after. So as you see with your atomic character, you can have your Glucon aura. As you do your combo, the aura should appear at some point, but there's a way to speed up the process if you really want to. Like if I do the combo, and then I activate this power, it'll give me the aura right away. The aura gives you various bonuses, you do a bit more damage if you're DPS and all that good stuff. So ideally, if you're playing Atomic, well, depending on the loadout you have, you may want to have the aura. Like if you're using the combos, obviously you're going to want to have the aura. If you're not using the combos, then you can play fine without using the aura. Sometimes you could decide to alternate between powers and weapon for reasons. Oh, there it is. So let's talk to Mira first.
The riptide of chaos continues to grow. The Central City Police Station is under siege, and the press claim Atlantis is responsible. You must stop these conspirators and find out who dares to betray the House of Atlan.
Probably should have waited, but anyway. So basically, if you saw my video where I defeated the Invincible Flash, the mission that Mara asked us to do is the mission in here, where we're going to be fighting what I dubbed the Invincible Flash, because there were people who were asking how to defeat the Flash, because he did seem to be invincible. The reason why he was invincible, quite simply, there's a mechanic you have to do. If you don't do the mechanic, you cannot defeat the Flash. It's that simple.
Well, looks like we may have found a weak spot, thanks to your efforts. Apparently, a substance known as quicklime has a detrimental effect on starospores. Surprisingly, we don't have any here at Star Labs. Chemicals galore, no quicklime. Fortunately, the Flash Museum is undergoing major renovations for the Cosmic Treadmill exhibit, and the concrete mix being used can easily be broken down into quicklime. Be careful, though. The invasion is even more intense the further into Central City you go.
So once we talked to that little lady here, again, you saw she gave us another mission. So let's go do that. So we have to gather some quicklime around here. Sorry about that. Now later. If you don't see me go after the collection, it's because the thing you can get with those collections, it's some pretty useless base items, if you ask me. So unless you're a completist and you just want to complete the collections, those collections aren't really worth all that much, sadly. Again, for each tower we defeat, it counts toward the 329 mission. That's a weekly mission, so ideally you want to do it at least once a week. It's usually not that difficult, it's just a bit time consuming. And as you can see, most NPCs are not that difficult. If you can get them one-on-one, you should have no problem defeating them. But it would be very, very easy to end up pulling way too many of them. So if you fight one, two of them, you should do fine. Obviously, if you end up fighting half a dozen of them, then you may actually be in trouble. There's a few exceptions to that. There's a few missions where you have to be a group. For example, the Star Bounty, you have to be a group. If you try to do that by yourself, I guarantee you're not going to survive very long. And even in a group, I don't guarantee your chances of survival. So we got the quicklime we needed. So let's go back to see our little friend. So again, as you saw, we don't see any other missions. Oh, we actually saw this one now. So we completed the mission that this lady gave us. So now we have to talk to this little fella over here.
We now have a weaponized version of the quicklime to test on the starospores.
So you may have realized,
exciting, right?
as we go through the missions, we're going to interact with different NPCs.
So only you use this quicklime on the smaller starospores that are controlling our citizens. We made this blend benign to humans, so while it won't hurt the host, it should help deter the spores from hugging people's faces. Ew. This is just too creepy.
So basically, I guess this is one way the devs made it so that it wouldn't overwhelm new players. So you talk with one NPC, you do the mission of the first NPC, then you talk to another NPC, you do his mission, then you will talk to another NPC, do the mission of that NPC. So that way you don't end up overwhelmed, you don't end up with half a dozen different missions at the same time.
Gotham, here I come.
These spores will spread throughout this city. No one is safe from my iron will.
So as you saw, if you're not careful, if you're a foolish fool like me, yeah, you can easily pull up extra NPCs that you don't really need. Ultimately, it's not a big deal. It's still counted towards our defeat Starro feat.
I'm getting out of here.
The citizens of Central City, and finally the world.
So as you see, the missions are not that difficult at this stage. Although, obviously the power you use could make a big difference. Sadly, there are powers that are more effective than others. Like for example, there's this mission where you have to do this sort of test, where you have to fight a whole bunch of Starro. And sadly, for that test mission, if you're not playing a tank, or even more specifically a fire tank, you will find that mission very, very difficult. I was able to do it with my quantum character, but holy crap, it was quite a challenge. Let me tell you that. The idea behind those difficult missions is that the devs expect you to do those missions in a group. Sadly, there's not that many people in Central City, you may have noticed. Some people have offered a few reasons why. Apparently there's different phases, and there's only 30 people per phase. So supposedly that is one of the reasons, but even then, if you look, there's not 30 people on the map. There's me and me. People have offered reasons that it might be because maybe there's 30 people in one phase and then one person in another phase. I guess that could be possible, but even then, so if you end up stuck in a phase by yourself, which seems to be what's happening to me pretty much all the time so far, you're gonna have to pretty much try and do all the missions solo. So we're done with that mission, so let's go back. So as you saw, we did the mission that this little guy gave us. So now we're going to do the mission that this little guy will give us.
Your field research has been invaluable. We refined the quicklime into a potent weapon. This version should be strong enough to put an end to many spores at once. Hopefully. Test this enhanced version on the hatcheries. Unfortunately, the controlled citizens have transported them even further into Central City, so be careful.
Usually there's a bit of random with the missions, although for that first time, I didn't notice if it was always the same missions or if it was random. It doesn't really matter. Overall, most of those missions are pretty much the same difficulty. I hear. Oh, there it is.
Arthur is a man of two worlds, worthy of a kingdom.
Let's get rid of that little
noble, not by birth,
fellow there.
nature. His love and desire to have both his worlds coexist is proof of this. It is the source of my greatest pride and my darkest disappointments. For I too am of two worlds, and it is only my love for Arthur that keeps me in this one.
My children shall consume all.
So let's go back, and we'll have to talk to the first NPC we had to talk to ahead of time.
The data you have collected on our weaponized quicklime will help us quickly put an end to starospores. Now we can start figuring out what makes them tick, or twitch, or crawl, or whatever it is those things do.
So as you see, once you finish all the missions, then it unlocks all the NPCs and all the consoles. So each NPC will give you a different mission every day. And the same with that little console over here. So most of those missions are daily, but there's a couple of weekly missions. Not to mention the mission that Mara gave us. Like basically the mission Mara gave us, the Central City Police Station mission. I'll make a video probably just about that mission. Technically I've already made a video with that mission. So, but I made a video from the villain perspective. It's pretty much the same way if you play as a hero. So that's pretty much how you unlock all the missions in the Deluge open world. So you talk to Mara, then you talk to this NPC, you talk to Mara again, you talk to the NPC again, you talk to multiple NPCs, and once you're done with the first few missions that those people give you, then it unlocks all the missions that you're going to be able to do in some cases daily, in some cases weekly. Again, some of those weekly missions require a group. If you cannot get a group, depending on which power you use, if you use a fire tank, odds are you're going to be able to play the group missions solo. If you're playing a quantum troll, it can be done, but it's going to be much more difficult. But I'm pretty sure there are some powers that if you try to do the group mission solo, I wouldn't be surprised if you're not able to. So that's pretty much it for now. That was pretty much what I would call a Deluge 101, where I showed you how to get started with Deluge, and also where I tried to answer some of your questions, like how there could be some missions that you don't see. And also why there might be some gear that you don't see in the vendor. So again, in the vendor, you don't see the Mara gear until you reach combat rating 218. If you don't have combat rating 218, then you're gonna have to purchase the Spindrift gear, which is some gear that will scale to the level of your character. And as you saw, also there's a bunch of base items that you can purchase if you want to. So that's pretty much it for now, guys. I will probably make a video with each individual mission to give you an idea of what those missions are. I guess we'll have to wait and see. So that's pretty much it for now, guys. So as always, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.